Morning Malaysia, this is Matthias Chang once again from Future Fast Forward. To all my Christian friends and colleagues, I wish you once again a Merry Christmas. To all others who are not Christians, I hope you have a happy holiday. I have no wish to disturb that festive celebrations, but today I'm compelled to share with you two issues which you will find very happy to receive, because these two issues will bring forward very quickly the downfall and the political castration of Najib, both as a Prime Minister and as a Muslim leader. First and foremost, you would have heard before the Christmas holiday that our great so-called hero took a stand at the OIC condemning America's recognition of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Before I go to the text of his speech, and thereafter his speech at the Putrajaya rally, may I bring to your attention, all Muslims, to take note of the significant fact that the OIC summit was convened at the request of the President of Turkey. Pause and think why Turkey convened and not Saudi Arabia, the custodian of Mecca, Medina, and the holy city in Jerusalem. For the Muslims is Jerusalem. And I stand to be corrected that the king or the crown prince of Saudi Arabia did not attend that summit. That would tell you the true state of affairs and the complexity of the geopolitical undercurrents with regard to the issue that pertains to the capital of Israel and the capital of the future Palestine. Now, the speech of Najib in OIC is nothing extraordinary. I will not read the whole speech, but I will extract the main points of his speech and will expose his hypocrisy, his own contradiction, and his bravado. And I also show that no other leaders of the Muslim world followed him or his call. Alright? So first of all, in his speech on the 13th of December 2017 at OIC Summit, he said this: "We must unite in our cause to reject any move to proclaim Al-Quds Al-Sharif as the capital city of Israel." Al-Quds Al-Sharif is the Arabic term for Jerusalem. On the contrary, Al-Quds Al-Sharif must ultimately be the capital of the state of Palestine. Let me say here, from the very outset, I think the view that Jerusalem cannot be the capital of Israel, neither can be the capital of Palestine, because all parties throughout the whole world, Jews, Muslims, and Christians, and in the United Nations, have held the holy city to be the sacred site of the three religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And that there be free access to all the believers of the three religions to the holy sites in Jerusalem. Now, I repeat again this paragraph by Najib, and I'll show his hypocrisy and his damning reckless behavior. He says here, "We must unite in our cause to reject any move to proclaim Al-Quds Al-Sharif as the capital city of Israel. On the contrary, Al-Quds Al-Sharif must be ultimately be the capital of the state of Palestine." So he is against Jerusalem, Al-Quds Al-Sharif as the capital of Israel, but insists that Al-Quds Al-Sharif must be the capital of the future Palestine. I pause it for a while and now go to the actual communique of the OIC summit. Okay? The actual words, the key paragraph. Alright? Reject and condemn in the strongest terms the unilateral decision by the President of the United States of America recognizing Al-Quds as a so-called capital of Israel, the occupying power. Then it goes on. Reaffirm the centrality of the cause of Palestine and Al-Quds al-Sharif to the Muslim Ummah. Alright? Then it says here, hold the US administration fully liable for all the consequences. Regard as the announcement of the US administration's withdrawal from its role as sponsor of peace. Okay? They are condemning the withdrawal of the US as sponsor for peace. Declare East Jerusalem as the capital of the state of Palestine, and invite all countries to recognize the state of Palestine and East Jerusalem as its occupied capital. So here you have, he didn't say in the communique of OIC, the entire city of Jerusalem will be the capital of future Palestine. Only East Jerusalem. Very significant. Only East Jerusalem. Whereas Najib says he opposed the declaration of Jerusalem, Al-Quds al-Sharif is capital city of Israel, but on the contrary, Jerusalem, Al-Quds al-Sharif must ultimately be the capital of the state of Palestine. You see, he goes there and talk and demanded that Al-Quds al-Sharif, Jerusalem, be the capital of Palestine. Yet OIC, of all the countries gathered there, came up with a communique that only is Jerusalem. What are the implications? That means the members of OIC and Najib, having been party to the communique, and having in that communique contradicted himself in his speech, have betrayed the Palestinians as always. Betrayed. Scumbags, traitors. Now, throughout history, from 1948, when President Truman recognized Israel as a state, and thereafter every president has recognized Israel as a state, and before Trump, and I posted a video to the effect that Obama was swearing black and blue that he would defend Israel, that borders of Israel will be secured. Well, US will stand and secure and guarantee the security of Israel. Alright? And he repeated that again after he retired. So there's nothing new in what Trump has said. Not that I support Trump. Huh? Why did Trump do what he did? In recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Let me put to you, he's exposing hypocrisy of the Sunni Wahhabis led by Saudi Arabia, and like this toad, this crony of Saudi Arabia, okay, inciting anger and hatred, all thunder and no rain. All the instruments, all the instruments of power, state power is in Jerusalem. Israeli, Zionist state power. And yet, throughout all these years, the Arabs, the Wahhabis line up and accepted the status quo in silence. They don't admit openly, but in action, they accepted it. Okay. Without question. But of course, in public demonstration, they say, we want this, we want that. We supported the Palestinians. Okay? And yet, knowing that the US openly, unreservedly declare their bias towards Israel. Why is it that in the communique, they say that US should withdraw now as a sponsor of peace? All these years, they accepted and they want US to be the sponsor of peace and the mediator to bring peace. Are you freaking assholes, stupid, you morons? Let's give you an example, okay? You herds following this idiot Najib. If today you go to court as a plaintiff or as a defendant, and the judge only tell you, I'm for the plaintiff, I will rule in favor of the plaintiff, not you defendant. Or alternatively, the judge says, I'm for the defendant, I've already made up my mind, and you are the plaintiff. What would you do? What would your lawyer do? I can assure you, your lawyer will apply to the court for the recusal, the withdrawal of the judge, as a fair judge in the case. But for 60 over years, you freaking traitors, false Muslims led by Saudi Arabia, tell the whole world you want US to be responsible for peace. So if you want US to be responsible for peace, know that US is biased and prejudiced towards Israel. So, unlike other presidents, Trump did what is expected. Since you want me, you know what I am, America what it is, well, I support the capital for Israel as Jerusalem. Just as Najib has said, he wants Jerusalem to be the capital of Palestine. You see, he condemns Trump for making a statement, but he says he can unilaterally declare Jerusalem as the capital of Palestine. I'll go to that issue more detail later. Can you see the hypocrisy? Right? But all these years, what is Prime Minister, what has he done for Palestine? And Hishamuddin has the audacity to say, we will fight. We will fight. Okay. Alright? For Palestine. And send soldiers. At the Putrajaya rally. And I asked anyone who was there at that rally, have you volunteered to fight, to shed your blood, to be cut to pieces, to follow your leader, to go to Palestine? This is what he says. This scumbag, hollow, coward, bravado. We will not budge. We will not budge in our defense for the plight of Palestinians. Returning Jerusalem to them as promised by the late Salahuddin al-Ayyubi. Even it means cutting me up into pieces, leaving behind only one piece of meat, we will not budge. See, this is all bravado. Bravado, bravado, bravado. Okay. When he says, when I just say these words, we will not budge, even it means cutting me up into pieces, I put to all of you, all Malaysians, he's making a personal declaration of war on Israel. I applaud him. Very daring. But why did he say so in the OIC summit on the 30th of December? Alright? Why only in the safety among his own herd, cronies, in Putrajaya? Because he has no balls. Therefore, I'm challenging Najib and Hishamuddin. Prove to the whole world and to the whole country. You dare fight Israel. You dare face the commandos of Israel. And I want you to go to Palestine as soon as possible. Either in Ramallah, the present de facto capital of Palestine, or better still, you go to Jerusalem at the Al-Aqsa Mosque and declare, you will declare war on Israel, that you're ready to cut to pieces for the plight of Jerusalem. And I'll be the first to volunteer and fight there with you. Okay? Because I've said many times, you scoundrels, you scumbags, you have demonstrations, you have resolution UN, you actually submit, all talk, all talk, all talk, share. Not once have you done anything concrete, okay? And of course, typical, right, of you scoundrels and scumbags, you complain that Israel is so mighty with all the arms, all the planes, all the bombs, and US supply the planes and the bombs and the tanks. And yet you want US to be the sponsor of peace and mediator? You Muslim countries in Saudi Arabia, you Wahhabis, led by the Saudi Arabia, did you not buy the bombs, the planes, the tanks, the munitions from Uncle Sam? Allegedly for what? To face your enemies, external enemies? You're the biggest hypocrite. You Sunnis, Wahhabis, because you bought those weapons not to fight Israel, not to support the Palestinians. Did you give all these tanks and the planes to counter Israeli planes and tanks? No. You use all this equipment to suppress your own people, and also you had a devil's bargain with Satan. In exchange of buying all these arms and developing the economy of America, supporting the military industrial complex, like this scumbag Najib going to America in September and says, I, as a Prime Minister, we come here to invest in America. We want to help you build infrastructure. Never. A third world country trying to help finance the world's number one superpower. You're a scumbag. You're a scumbag. Why do you say, I will donate, I will invest in Palestine, I will buy planes and bombs and arm them lah? Since you're going to cut to pieces. Can you see the hypocrisy? It makes me want to throw a vomit. And there are so many cronies in UMNO who gathered at the Project rally without thinking, without seeing through his stupidity and his hypocrisy, followed like a herd. You have disgraced Malaysia, and you have, in many ways, distorted the teachings of Islam and the just struggle of the Muslim Ummah, and also distorted the struggle of the Palestinians. In all my trips to Palestine, the list I met, they say our struggle is the struggle of all people of Palestine, Muslim, Christians, of all faiths, for liberation and freedom. Islam was not an issue, a war of national liberation for freedom. But when you turn it into an Islamic issue, you have deliberately pushed people away in support of Palestine. Because the non-Muslims will say, nothing to do with us. It's a struggle for Muslims on a jihad. See, by doing that, you have actually isolated the struggle of Palestinians. 60 years they've been betrayed by Muslim leaders, okay, by Muslim leaders. But there were many Christians like Richard Corey who volunteered and went to Palestine, fought for the Palestinians, and was massacred, buried alive by bloody war criminal Israeli commandos. Okay, that is a real courage. She didn't talk. She just went there. When the bulldozers tried to demolish Palestinian houses, this young girl in the 20s, early 20s, stood in front of the bulldozer and they ran over her. That is courage. That is sacrifice in the name of God Almighty, uniting the Palestinians. Whereas you idiots in Purajaya, all thunder, no rain, talk, talk, talk. And I stand to be judged by Allah. I'm going to say to all of you that after the speech of OIC, after the rally Jaya, this idiot, the leader, Najib and Hishamuddin, will do nothing. Will not even go to Palestine and declare war on Israel for his bravado. Nothing will happen. As in the past, nothing. Another betrayal. Okay? So, since he say he doesn't recognize the declaration by US that Jerusalem be the capital of Israel, who is he to condemn? Trump. Why not condemn Obama, Clinton, Reagan, Bush? If you oppose Trump and all the past presidents for declaring Jerusalem as the capital, then how can you unilaterally, you Najib, declare Jerusalem as the capital of Palestine without the sanctions and the agreement of all the countries in the world? My personal view is Palestine is a holy city. I have no time to deliver on the history of Jerusalem. Go to Wikipedia. Go to Wikipedia where it says very clearly. Alright? Jerusalem is a city of the Middle East, located on a plateau in the Judean mountains between the Mediterranean and Dead Sea. Israelis and Palestinians both claim Jerusalem as the capital. From Wikipedia, as the state of Israel maintains its primary government institutions there, while the state of Palestine ultimately foresees the city as seat of power. However, neither claim is recognized internationally. And down below, during its long history, Jerusalem has been destroyed at least twice, besieged 23 times, attacked 52 times, and captured and recaptured 44 times. The part of Jerusalem called the City of David was settled in the 4th millennium BCE. In 1538, walls were built around Jerusalem under Suleiman the Magnificent. Today, those walls define the old city, which has been traditionally divided into 4 quarters, known since early 19th century as the Armenian Quarter, the Christian Quarter, the Jewish Quarter, and the Muslim Quarter. Is it why now they are saying the only one is Jerusalem? Because there are 4 quarters divided. Some Armenians, Christian, Jewish. And here this guy, this hypocrite says he declared on behalf of the Palestinians the whole Jerusalem, when OIC says only is Jerusalem, because he doesn't know his history. Jerusalem is divided into 4 quarters. Okay? So what has he say? And then it says here, Jerusalem is considered, a heritage site in 1981 is on the list of World Heritage in Danger. A holy city in the 3 major Abrahamic religions of Judaism, Christianity, Islam. The holiness of Jerusalem in Christianity conserves the Septuagint, which Christians adopted as their own authority, was reinforced by the New Testament account of Jesus' crucifixion there. In Sunni Islam, Jerusalem is the 3rd holy city after Mecca and Medina. In Islamic tradition, in 601 CE, it became the first Qibla, the focal point for Muslim prayer, Salat, and Muhammad his night journey, ascending to heaven, where he spoke to God according to the Quran. What we are trying to say here is, if you do the research, the issue of Jerusalem is so simple. It has been in contention for thousands of years. And right now in modern history, Israel and Palestine are fighting for historical reasons. But the reality is, Jerusalem is divided into 4 quarters. The Armenian quarter, the Christian quarter, the Jewish quarter, and the Muslim quarter. Now you upstarts, herd mentality at the Pro Giants rally, do you know of that historical fact? Why OIC says the only one is Jerusalem as the capital of Palestine. So they can declare, alright? But Trump has set a trap. Alright, for the hypocritical Sunni Wahhabis in the Middle East. organizing officially and to move the embassy, US, to Jerusalem. You know what his message to the Palestinians? Look, your brothers accuse we being biased. Yes, we are biased. They want us to be the mediator. You invited us, so we did it, and we've been biased. All the past presidents. Okay. But Tom says, right, no more hypocrisy. No more hide and seek. No more white collar. Okay. Palestinians, Palestine, your leader Abbas, you know, you have told other people is a traitor to your cause. The Arabs are traitors to your cause. This is the reality. You will now have to negotiate and struggle with your opponent Israel and come to a peace. You can do it. If you rely on your own strength, have faith in Allah, and not have faith in the money dished up by the Sunni Wahhabis, so that you become so crippled, so dependent on that blinding charitable aid. See, you cannot survive now without Sunni Wahhabis money, isn't it? So, coming back to this Namskar Najib, if you're willing to be cut to pieces to fight for the Palestinians, please la Najib, sever officially diplomatic relations with US, recall the ambassador, and suffer the consequences in trade, in investment. In the same way the Palestinians are suffering, all right, being sanctioned, blocked from traveling. In Gaza and Palestine is an open air prison, understand? Bombed, bullied, murdered, slaughtered. They're living in extreme poverty for their principles, the Palestinians. So if you are so principled, Najib, we need to cut to pieces. Please show an example to our own countrymen. Let's suffer together, Palestine. I challenge you. Don't say, oh, we can still maintain relations with US. We can oppose him and work on other fronts. You're the hypocrite. You are the bloody hypocrite. If you really want to support the Palestinians, let's suffer in a light way with the Palestinians. Have faith in Allah that victory will come to you and to the Palestinian people, as I have. So you don't do that. Instead, by your statement, rather the OIC statement, which you are part of it, you've already recognized Israel. Although we Malaysians in our passport, we can't go to Israel because Israel is not recognized. But for all intent and purpose, by your action, by your statement, by your communique, you've accepted the status quo. You scumbag. You think you can hoodwink people? Maybe the uneducated Christians and Muslims who went for your rally. You know, all emotions, you know, oh, blah, 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 but know nothing about history, or have been to Palestine to stand shoulder with shoulder in the struggle against the barbarity of Israel. So please, don't you ever dare declare war on Israel in your personal capacity, right, when the whole country is not with you. Okay. But if you dare go to Palestine and declare war in Jerusalem, then I will kneel down before you, right, and give allegiance to you as a true leader of the Muslim world and as well as a true leader of Malaysians. Because you dare sacrifice your life for a greater cause, the cause of Palestine, and as you say, the cause of Allah. Show to us, please, otherwise shut up, zip up, and get out of this country, like Mugabe, okay? Because every time you speak, shit comes out. The whole stance is a disgrace, you know. You're the worst example of what a Muslim can be or should be. You're the worst example, all right? The heroic Palestinians are a shining example of how we be heroic, fighting for principles, and making sacrifices every day. Not like you indulging in extravagance, money laundering with the Jolo and the Arabs. Shame, shame, shame. I think I speak enough on this Najib hypocrisy. So to all Malaysians, study your history, do your research before you open your mouth to support this idiot. Don't follow the Pied Piper. And why should we sacrifice our brave soldiers who have served all over the world as UN contingent? We have nothing to prove. They also are brave. They sacrifice a lot. But they will not be led by this idiot to make unnecessary sacrifice, because they will only make sacrifice if the leader is right, courageous and principled. But this leader is a scumbag. Okay? A scumbag. A hypocrite. A hypocrite. And other than the Quran and the Hadith, it is said, right? If you're a hypocrite, you're not a true Muslim. Even you pray 5 times a day and do all the other rituals. Yeah. There is a sanctioned, okay, by Allah. Beware of hypocrites. And the biggest hypocrisy on the 3rd of December was King Salman, his crown prince, was not even at OIC summit. I stand to be corrected. I was told he was a foreign minister or an official. Why did Saudi Arabia pull back? Because they were told and they submitted. Okay, stop your nonsense, stop your hypocrisy, move on, make genuine peace. I said before, they financed ISIS to kill fellow Muslims, rape, burn alive, drown alive, slit their throat alive, fellow Muslims. Okay, and remember Najib says, we must be like ISIS, so brave. Until ISIS was exposed to barbaric bastards, he retracted. Okay, now, the second issue, why I said Najib is fast falling into oblivion. Finito, finish, and politically castrated. You recall the many assets, right, of the Jolo 1 MDB criminal syndicate cabal has been frozen in the US courts. And then, on the 13th of September, the judge gave an order that the civil forfeiture will cease for a time being, so that criminal process will proceed against all those criminal money launderers, liars, racketeers, financial rapists. On December 21st, this will come as a shock to you. Let me tell you. Because the assets that was apparent was purchased by money laundered by 1MDB to the Arabs and Jolo, the names on the list and next to the executive order by Trump on the 12th of December, they could include 1MDB because it was already frozen. However, the order of Trump was very clear. In the future, okay, all right, all those assets, right, which are to be identified or investigated to come from any money laundering, corruption, racketeering, okay, will be whacked in addition to what has been frozen. Okay, this part of the executive order which I want you to pay attention. Section 7, I read to you. For those persons whose property and interest in property are blocked pursuant to this order, who might have a constitutional presence in the United States, I find that because of the ability to transfer funds or other assets instantaneously, prior notice to such persons or measures to be taken pursuant to this order will render those measures ineffectual. I therefore determine that for these measures to be effective in addressing the additional emergency declared in this order, there need not be no prior notice of a listing or determination made pursuant to this order. What this means is this. That order has a list of people and assets to be confiscated in an organization. But in future, okay, Trump, the State Department, Secretary of State, the Treasury Department, Secretary of Treasury, and DOJ will not even tell anybody who will be added on to the list and what other assets will be sapooed without notice. Okay, this is very important. All right, because this is what Trump said, very wide. He made his order on December 21st. And this is, take your phone, take your headphone, and photograph this. I downloaded it, the actual order by Trump, declaring who will be on the list, persons, organizing what assets to be frozen. From my research, he's aiming, first and foremost, all those people who money laundered to the Clinton Foundation and the Soros Foundation and other Arab countries, leaders, kings, princes, sheikhs, who donated and money laundered to Clinton Obama to subvert the banking system of US and the world. Okay. Now, here's what he says here. I hereby determine and order, Section 1A, all property and interest in property that are in the United States that hereafter come within the United States or that are or hereafter come within the possession or control of any United States person of the following persons are blocked and may not be transferred, paid, exported, withdrawn, or otherwise dealt in. The person listed in the annex of this order, I have the list. Any foreign person determined by the Secretary of State, of Treasury, in consultation with the Secretary of State and the Attorney General. Beyond the people in the list, any person, any foreign person, that means even Najib, Jolo, Arabs, Prince Turkey, the whole works are captured under this order. Then B, but the bottom, to be a current or former government official. MO1, Malaysia Official 1, right? Well, that's Najib, is it? But Talas is Najib. It also applies to current, his current, right, MO1, Prime Minister, or former government official, or a person acting for or on behalf of such official. Arukanda, all these people in 1MDB, who is responsible for or complicit in or has directly or indirectly engaged in corruption, including the misappropriation of state assets, 1MDB, the expropriation of private assets for personal gain, 1MDB, you know, all the jewelry, all the bubbles, corruption related to government contracts, 1MDB, or the extraction of national resources or bribery, proceeding to China. The transfer or the facilitation of the transfer of the process of corruption to be or have been a leader or official, an entity, that means 1MDB for example, Ministry of Finance, including any government entity, even the Ministry of Finance, that has engaged in or whose members have engaged in any of the activities described in subsection 2A, 2B1 or 2B2 of this section relating to the leaders or officials' tenure. Who's the leader of Malaysia? Najib, isn't it? An entity whose property and interest in property are blocked pursuant to this order as a result of activities related to the leader's official tenure, or to have attempted to engage in any of the activities described in subsection 2A, 2B1 or 2B2 of this section. Any person determined by the Secretary of Treasury in consultation with the Secretary of State and Attorney General to have materially assisted, sponsored or provided financial, material or technological support for or goods or service to or in support of any activity described in subsection 2A, 2B1 or 2B2 of this section that is conducted by a foreign person. Who is a foreign person? Any Malaysian, any Arab, Understand? Any honkies, any chidakwai, any person whose property or interest in property are blocked pursuant to this order, or any entity, including any government entity that has engaged in or whose members have engaged in any of the activities described in subsection 2A, 2B1 or 2B2 of this section, where the activity is conducted by a foreign person. So all the activities 1 MDB is conducted by a foreign person. Okay. So then section 5. 5. Any transaction that evades or voids has the purpose of evading or avoiding causes a violation of or attempts to violate any of the prohibition set forth in this order is prohibited. Any conspiracy formed to violate any of the prohibition set forth in this order is prohibited. The term person means an individual or entity. The term entity means a partnership, association, trust, joint venture, corporation, group, subgroup, or other organization. Okay? So why? So, Malaysians, this is a time for celebration. You see, Najib and his summer troopers, and Prophet Bashir says, you know, and Attorney General, there's no crime. Notwithstanding, the Attorney General of Switzerland has conducted criminal proceedings. Singapore has convicted all the henchmen 1 MDB. And now, with this order, all right, everything will be fast forward, speeded up. They will whack anybody even without telling them you're on the list now. Silent stealth, whack, whack, whack. Seize, freeze, assets, monies. Just any person, entities, even government entities. So if the Treasury, and now I was told the KSU of Treasury is the chairman 1 MDB, he better resign, because he can be also, as an individual, right, in association with 1 MDB, and if they evade, and they're trying to evade, hide their assets and monies, they'll be kaput, finito, okay? So all of you, prior to Najib's visit to US, oh, Trump will betray Malaysia. First of all, why are we begging him for help? Alright? He's a foreign leader. You accuse him of being an idiot, a fool, a clown. Will betray us. And he, the president, will lick the ass of Najib. And yet, on so many occasions, the contrary has been established. 30 September, day after he visited President, the court in California whacked Najib. Okay, and said enough assets has been frozen, we will now conduct proceedings. Okay, on Monday, the week beginning of the UMNO General Assembly, Jeff Sessions DOJ says, right, 1 MDB is the largest kleptocracy in the world, the worst of its kind. Alright? And now this order. What else you want, Malaysians? Don't you have any shame, self-respect, self-esteem, that you need a foreign leader in our fight to dispose this corrupt leader and his whole hierarchy of cronies? Stupid, but loyal but not clever. Stupid idiots. Right? And you declare to non-Muslims, always say, we are Muslims, we are righteous. And yet you stand by this idiot, this criminal, and now expose him. This is disgusting. And I hope this will be a lesson to all of us, Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, and Muslims. Alright? Be upright. Be upright. And surrender to the rule of Allah completely. Have absolute faith that He will protect us, guide us, defend us under all circumstances, in the face of all adversities, enemies, challenges, and evil. Last but not least, I'm going to say these things like, which will shock a lot of Muslims. Many Muslims in this country have distorted Islam. And by their action and words, in many ways, have cast a misperception of Islam. Because many Muslims in this country mix racialism with Islam. And I pray to Allah that they will have wisdom, because I can tell you, examine your own conscience. Many a times, some of these deviant Muslims tell me, so and so, a Christian, has converted to Islam. Dia sudah masuk Melayu. Where in the Quran or in the Hadith that when you convert to Islam, you sudah masuk Melayu? Do you see how pernicious and how hideous are this propaganda by Muslims, deviant Muslims? As a result of which, a lot of non-Muslims refuse to read the Quran, refuse to follow the innocent teachings of the Quran, because this Muslim go around and say dia sudah masuk Melayu. Has nothing to do with Melayu or China. There are more Muslims in China than in Malaysia. Are you saying that if I convert to Islam in China, I masuk China? Or the Indian convert to Islam in China, dia masuk China? Can you see how pernicious are all this, right? Distortion. That's why in this country, Islam, rather than distortion of Islam, the perverted Islam has been used, is a preferred tool by these scumbag leaders in UMNO and PAS. Instead of giving a real teaching of what is Islam, what is in the Quran, you propagate such a stupid nonsense. Masuk Melayu. And then tell people, you know, kalau you masuk Melayu, you Bumi Putra, you boleh dapat project license. These are scumbags. And to all my non-Muslim brothers and sisters, if you come across any Muslim who said it to you, spit them in their face and tell them you're a deviant, you're not true Muslim. This is not Islam. I will find the true Islam and the true teachings of Islam by other sources, not by you. This is the situation now. That's why we have this hypocrisy in OIC. We have the hypocrisy in Putrajaya. A man stands on the stage and says, I will be cut to pieces. But he was a mouse in OIC because he knows he can't talk cock and bull among Muslims. Alright? But in the presence of Christians and Buddhists at the rally, he can bluff it. And also bluff those Muslims who are sincere, who want to support the Palestine, but distort the message so that he get Malay support for the election if there is one. This is the filth of a very insidious criminal leader. Alright? And thank God we have been blessed by Allah. Because Allah always says, you know, here, your heart, your mind and soul must be pure. Just have to follow the Quran. Be truthful to yourself and to Him. Surrender completely, because the Quran is a GPS. It's a spiritual GPS. You can't go, you can't get lost. Don't listen to all these idiots. There are false teachings, false leaders. The only true teaching is in the Quran and the sayings of the Prophet. So for the non-Muslims and Christians, please purge the anger, purge the misunderstanding you have of Islam and the Muslim brothers and the Ummah, who are those who are genuine. But despise, right, and show utter contempt to those Muslims who distort Islam. And likewise, have utter contempt to those Christians who distort, blaspheme, and misrepresent the true teachings of Jesus in the Bible, Isa. In that way, no one can divide us, can abuse us, because we have a GPS, a spiritual GPS to guide us. So I hope these two issues have brought you renewed confidence and anticipation that 2018, but a year of victory, of triumph, of good over evil, truth over lies, justice over injustice, and forever, till our dying breath, surrender to the will of Allah. Have absolute faith that He will protect, defend, and guide us under all circumstances, in the face of all enemies, adversities, and challenges, and more importantly, evil. We will stare at evil in their face and say, "Be gone, for we will triumph. For Allah is our guide, our compass." With that, I thank you all for your attention and bid you good day.